the one thing I will say that you really healed is that you healed my inner child. You gave her, I'm getting emotional. You gave that little girl the love and support she never had. You gave her the arms that she needed to run to hug. You gave her the feeling that she was safe and that she didn't have to worry about anything else. And you just gave her stability. You gave her the feeling that you weren't just going to leave and never come back. And I'm just so grateful for you. And you are my angel.
Welcome, guys, back to another episode of the Unhinged Marriage Podcast. I am your host, Zimmy, and this is my beautiful wife,
Jenny.
Yes, sir. Today we have a very special podcast, as you can tell, with our outfits and things that we're wearing. This is a special podcast, a Valentines Day special podcast for all you lovebirds out there.
Woohoo.
Yeah, so this podcast is going to be a little bit different from most of our other podcasts that we do. It is going to be question based, but it's going to be a lot of love questions, love language questions that
Very lovey-dovey
that we're going to be answering, and then as well as that, these questions are also going to be able to help you as well too to better your relationship or have better romance in your relationship as well too. Mm-hmm. So we're going to start off with our first question. She has the questions.
Yes. So our first question today is going to be, what was our proposal story?
Oof. So that question, I gotta put my glasses on for this. That question, oh, she can't see my eyes. That question.
That's all good. I don't need to look at them right now.
That question is really good. I mean, our proposal story. So a little backstory on that. So it was in 2021 when I had back surgery. Or no, 2020 is when I had back surgery.
No, you had back surgery 2021.
Yeah, so 20.
You got engaged the same
I'm terrible
year.
Time and stuff like that.
Maybe I should take this one.
But 2021, I had back surgery. We were already dating for a few years already. Mm-hmm. But I had back surgery that day. I was out of commission for, I want to say, like 6 months.
Yeah,
like
your back surgery recovery was probably a total of 6 months.
Yeah, it was a total of 6 months, and it was tough on physically me, and then her mentally and physically as for her, because you could imagine that she had to take care of me while being very, very injured after that back surgery, and she still had to work a full-time job, so she was balancing a lot.
Yeah, so that's why he ended up proposing the week after he had back surgery. He didn't want me to leave.
That was that was a reason, right? Because I saw how good she took care of me and how loving she was towards me. But there's also millions of other reasons why I proposed to her.
Yeah, so do you want to start with, you originally were supposed to propose to me in June when we went to Disneyland?
Actually, yeah, I was.
So we'll start from there.
So June of 2021 as well too. Yeah, I was actually going to propose to her. I actually had the ring in my backpack. And it was funny because I was going through where, you go through, if you ever been to the Disneyland here in LA and Los Angeles, when you go through security, they obviously check your bags and stuff like that. You have to open it and stuff. And she went first. She went through and stuff, and then I went, and then they were checking my bag, and I kind of stood the other way with my back towards facing her. That way I kind of cover the bag because they have to go through your bag. Mm-hmm. And the guy like was going through, and then he pulls out this little box, and I'm like, oh yeah, like he just opens it, and I was like, make sure she doesn't see it, and he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Like he gave
thankfully,
me a little like little whisper and stuff. But
yeah.
thankfully she was like distracted waiting for the tram and stuff
Yeah,
like that. So
I'm such a Disney girl. Anytime
yeah.
he takes me to Disneyland, I'm like, don't even think of anything else. I'm so oblivious. So I honestly was just like, went through the gate and just like went to wait for the tram while I was waiting for him to get the bag check. So thank the Lord I didn't look back.
Yeah, so she didn't catch on to that. And then so I was so we were going through Disneyland, and this was, keep in mind, this was before my surgery, and I was already like in terrible pain because I had sciatic on
Mhm.
the left side. So for anybody that has had that can imagine like how I was feeling, especially going to Disneyland and having to walk around for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
So it was definitely like it was painful, but I was going to propose to her at Disneyland. And the reason why I didn't, I think,
So
was
I was being a brat,
oh yeah, that's right. I think that's why. I think
unfortunately.
yeah, she wasn't having the best time. There was
Yeah.
like it was just there was things that weren't going our way.
Yeah,
Things
you
weren't
weren't
really.
able to walk a lot. You had to take
Yeah,
a lot of
I had to keep
breaks.
sitting down for every like 30 minutes, 30 40
Yeah.
minutes. I had to sit down, and even sitting down hurt because of the pressure of
Yeah,
it was
so
just
I
it
was
was
like unhappy with that. And
yeah.
because I'm like a total freak when it comes to Disney, like I have a schedule, I have certain rides we get on, like certain times of the day. And
Mhm.
because of the delay of him, like having to sit down every 30 minutes, and he was miserable. So I felt that. So I was miserable because then I felt like, why are we here? I felt so guilty. And I took it out on him being stressed out. And every time he was going to propose, like I either didn't like our picture that we were taking, or I was like hot, or I was hungry, or whatever it was, every single time, because we were like in front of the castle and I knew he was going to do it there. And then we were like at a different part of the park, and just the whole day he didn't feel right. And another
Mhm.
thing why I was being upset and being a brat was because I thought he was going to propose to me and he never did it. And so the entire time I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, this dude, like, we're at Disneyland, it's my favorite place to be at, and he doesn't freaking propose to me. And so that pissed me off too. So the whole day was just like, it was just a mess.
Mhm.
And he had surgery in July. So pretty much the month after he had surgery. And it was, I believe, either the last week of July or the first week of August. And during that week that he was at home and recovering, like, I was obviously taking care of him, feeding him, taking him out
Mhm.
of bed, washing his butt and everything.
Yeah.
And at that point, I just kind of was like, well, he's never going to propose to me. Like, and we were, I think, almost
I
5
think we
years
were
at
5 years
that
in, yeah,
time.
dating. Yeah,
And I
5 years.
kind of had given him an ultimatum that year too. And I was like, I want to get proposed to. Like, I've got a timeline. Like, I want to have kids in 3 years. Like, it was like a whole thing. And this dude, being so sweet, he's like, he figured out a way to propose to me pretty much from bed, because he couldn't get out of bed. Like, he had
Mhm.
to be bedridden for that first week, and he could barely walk, he couldn't kneel, he couldn't do anything. And he came up with this brilliant plan, which I'm actually so grateful he didn't propose at Disney, because this was so much more creative, and it really showed me how much he loved me. And he gave me a day, like a scavenger hunt day with riddles.
Mhm.
And it was probably the best thing ever. And do you want to describe how that was, or do you want me to describe
Yeah,
it?
so I mean,
Like, what was your planning
we could both
process?
chime into that.
Yeah.
So my planning process. So after the Disney thing didn't go well. I mean, I would have loved to do that, but obviously it wasn't the greatest time at that
Mhm.
moment. So I was like, okay, well, I'll figure something out. And then I got the surgery. But yeah, I was really not mobile at all. Like I was like barely. My legs were just hurting so much.
Oh my
It was
gosh,
terrible.
yeah.
It was the worst thing ever. But as I started getting a little bit better, like I was starting to walk more and stuff like that, very slowly. I started to think about, okay, well, I didn't propose to her at Disney, so I got to figure something out. So I started reaching out I reached out to one of my good friends, Johnny, another good friend, Emilio. And I was like, hey, I have this idea to propose to Jenny. This is kind of what I want to do. And it was like a scavenger hunt style, proposal. idea. And I was like, okay, well, are you guys able to get me this? So they helped me a lot in that whole process, because they helped me get some cards. They helped me get, the flowers. They helped me pretty much arrange everything, because I wasn't really able to move around as much. But I believe it was five cards.
Yeah, it was 5 riddles in total. And so pretty much I had no idea. Like, I didn't even think he had this thing planned for me. So he had one of his friend's girlfriends kind of be my guide, and he had one of his friends, Johnny, be my chauffeur for the day. So I got picked up in his car by his friend, and his friend's girlfriend was in it too, and they gave me a letter.
Yeah, I think what it was more, it was I put it. The idea was like, okay, well, she's been taking care of me for it was already like maybe 4 or 5 months in.
No,
4 months in. I think into the surgery.
Literally like the week you had surgery, a week before you proposed. No,
because I had the surgery, and I was able to walk now. I was able to be able to move around.
It was
and be
at least
mobile,
2
but
weeks.
It wasn't
months, because you had surgery in July.
It was at least a month in, because I proposed to her in August.
You had surgery in July, like mid-July.
Yeah, and I proposed to you in August.
Yeah, so
but it was like mid-August.
We're gonna compromise. We're gonna say
I'm pretty sure.
month.
I'm pretty sure it was a month. It was a month in, because for sure the first 2 weeks I couldn't really walk, so I wouldn't.
Well, you were walking already at the end of the week, because that was part of your recovery.
Yeah, but it was very minimal. It wasn't crazy.
Okay.
It was after the 2 weeks where I was kind of able to.
We're gonna go with 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
I was kind of able to walk a little bit more, but it was about 3 weeks or 4 weeks or so where then I created this idea, but I was like, well, she was already working really hard, and she was taking care of me in the process. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna reward her. Well, not reward her, but I'm gonna spoil her.
It was. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna spoil her with a little cute little trip thingy that she was gonna do. And then I was like, okay, Kayla, can you she's the friend that helped us as well too. And then I told her, can you help me, with, because they were friends at the time and stuff. And
yeah,
and she did. And then Johnny too, I was like, oh, can you just drive him and stuff? And he was, yeah, I'll do it. I think it was 5 cards, right? I'm pretty sure
it was 5, and I actually have them here, so I can tell you the exact riddles.
Yeah, because I forgot.
So the first riddle, he writes, by the sea, you will enjoy a delicious treat. It's not on a boat, but it looks like a house. What am I? And it's funny because the answer is boathouse. And when we got there, there was like a 2.5 hour wait to go to brunch.
Yeah.
So
I tried to get a reservation, but they didn't allow reservations.
So we ended up going to Mesa Cafe instead. And so Johnny was such a sweetheart. He literally was like a champ all day, because we went from there to a different place. And so he was, designated to only go to certain things. So as we progressed, he had to go to a bunch of different places. So that was the first one. We did brunch at the Mesa Cafe. And then I got my second riddle, which was, it seems you need to gleam both hands and your feet. Your next stop is a place where there's endless of color and peace. What am I? And it was the nail salon. And at that moment, I was like, okay, why is he paying for me to do my nails and feet? And I was like, maybe it's a proposal, but maybe it's just like a treat for me. So then we go to the nail salon. And at that time, I had always gone to the same nail salon. So he got me like a gift certificate and everything. And then the third one was, let me see here. All right. So then after my nails, we had another card. So each time we went to this place and I finished, so like after we finished brunch, I got the next one. After my nails, I got this next one. It said, something you enjoy doing. It takes time, but you can do it from a window or inside. What am I? And at that moment, I was like, okay, I'm going shopping. So, bless Kayla and Johnny, because this part took the longest because I'm indecisive when it comes to shopping. I'm very I like to save money. And most of the time And actually at that time I was only thrift shopping. Like I wasn't buying things in stores. So they took me to like 5 different stores downtown, all boutiques, and everything was over like 50 or $100. And me being a thrift girl, I was like, I'm not paying more than $5-10 on a dress. And I had actually already bought a dress that weekend that was like my favorite thing. It was silk, and I bought it at the thrift store for like $2. But I wasn't allowed to go home because he was like setting up this thing at home. And we were probably shopping for about 2 hours, which delayed everything because everything was supposed to be like an hour. And so I was adamant and I was like, I want to go home. I want this. And so Kayla went inside, like messaged Hido that I wanted my dress. And it's funny because he didn't even think this through. I needed my hair straightener to curl my hair and makeup because the next card was like to go on a date. And so this one said, you're almost done, but there's one more run. I forgot the wine, but it's fine. What I need is flowers to make your day. Help me please on this final mission. They're in a garden on a hill. What am I? And for those of you who don't know, we have a rose garden here at the Mission, and that's special for me because every year for fiestas, I perform at the Mission, and we will do like my pictures in the rose garden. So for me, when I saw that, I was like, this is it. He's proposing at the Mission, at the rose garden. And then part of me was like, well, wait, he's not even allowed to leave the house. Like, what the heck's going on? Like, how is he going to get transported? Like, are his friends going to carry him in? Like, what the heck? So, like I said, Kayla had to go home because she had to get my makeup, my hair straightener, my outfit. Like, they didn't plan this through because it's like, how am I going to get proposed to if I'm not even like dolled up, you know? And so they made me stay in the car and, you know, they got everything for me. Thank the Lord I like said something because I was like, oh my God, imagine I got proposed to and I wasn't even wearing any makeup. My hair wasn't done. Like, I would have been mad at him. So after that, I got ready at Kayla's house, and then they took me to the rose garden, and I was like looking around. I was trying to see where he was. And because we had taken an extra hour, his friend who was supposed to set up this like picnic basket for me to find was sitting in his truck, like almost like looking like he was passed out.
Yeah.
Like, poor sweetheart. He was like waiting there for an extra hour than he should have been. And like Kayla and Johnny were just like, where the hell is Emilio? Like, he's supposed to set up a picnic. She's supposed to walk to it. And I'm like, okay, I don't see Hido. Like, what the hell is going on? And this fool like jumps out of his car and like runs over and sets up the picnic basket like right in front of me. And he was like, oh, here you go. And then there was a final letter in there, and it says, hold on while this thing loads. It said, you've done it. You passed the mission. Now it's time to escape. Come back home and claim your reward. Can't wait to see you. And when I saw that, honestly, my jaw dropped because I was like, motherfucker, the entire all day. I've been out of the house for maybe like 8 hours at this point. All day I wanted to go home because I was like, I gotta go take care of him. I gotta cook. I gotta clean. I gotta do stuff. I want to go home. And he didn't even propose to me at the rose garden. I was like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
And so I get home and I'm like already pissed off because I'm like, this motherfucker, like, he just played me. And I get home and he like decked out our yard with like, he like cleaned it up because it was messy. He organized it with like charcuterie, my flowers, like string lights, and he was outside with his guitar like waiting for me. He was so nervous. He was like shaking. And when I got there, he sang me a song that he wrote. And our friends were kind of like outside. So we have like a gate. So they were outside kind of like waiting because they were waiting for the cue so they could like take pictures and whatnot. And the entire time while he was singing me this song, our dog Thor was like scratching the door, like crying. And in my mind, I'm like, why is he not outside? Because typically like he's wherever we are. Like he's never locked up. And after you sang me the song, you had our friends come back inside. You let Thor out, who was wearing the engagement ring on his collar. And we'll show a little picture here. And he runs out, he's smelling everybody, and like Hido's like, no, come here, like you need to come over here. And so we finally got him to come to us. And so he took the ring box like off his collar, and then he tells me this cute little thing, and he's coming down on one knee, and I'm over here pretty much saying like, no, no, no. And everyone thought I was saying no, but I was like, no, you can't get down on one knee. You just had back surgery. And I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God. Like I was literally like going back and forth, like, get up. Like, what are you doing? And then he proposed, and I was like, yes, yes, yes. And so he got up, but that was kind of like our proposal story. And it was the cutest thing I could have ever asked for, because it was one creative. It was so different. And you did it when you were in pain. And no matter how painful you felt, you gave me that, what I was looking forward to. And you did it in a way that really shows who you are as a person. Like you don't do things normally. You do things out of the box. And I was just so grateful and so blessed to like be able to say that's our proposal story. It was a scavenger hunt, riddles, and that's like what our relationship is. It's adventures. It's uniqueness. It's just whatever you and I love. And for me, that was the biggest surprise I could have ever asked for. And I just wish we took more pictures, because we did not have
I'm surprised no one snapped photos.
Our friends were so into what
they were
was
so
going
like into
on.
that they forgot to grab.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Like I know they took some photos and stuff, but it
yeah,
wasn't
like we have
too
like
crazy.
one video and like a couple pictures. But so I would really love to recreate that if we ever could in the future, but it would be difficult because we would have to do it before we move out of our place. Because
it's
But I would love to eventually kind of recreate that moment with you. But even doing it with you, like you being the chauffeur and you giving me riddles, like I think that would be
a cute
something you can do for me.
a cool little date thing that we can do.
But that, I know that went a little long, but that was our proposal story. It took time because you had to understand like the first one in Disney and how it led up to that, and why it's so special for us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad it went this way instead, because it was more unique and more like more felt in the heart, more heartwarming to do it the way I did it. I mean, obviously, it was like a little bit chaotic in a sense, but
that's like you. It's
but that's
totally him.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it was perfect, I think. And that's kind of our proposal story, how I proposed to her, and now we're almost going on to 3 years in April.
Oh my gosh, I know. Yeah. Like literally 2 more months and we're 3 years. That's crazy.
3 years, yeah.
3 years married, 8 years together.
8 years together. So a long time.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was our first question. And so let's move on to the next one. Yeah. So this one's a juicy one. How do you keep the romance alive after years of marriage? And I know we don't have that many, but we have 8 years together. So should we give them a little insight?
Yeah, I mean, we give them a little insight on kind of how we keep our romance alive. Definitely a big one for us is traveling.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So we love to go on adventures and we love to travel. And it's a way for us to kind of escape from everything that we got in our, in our lives, and just it be us two.
Yeah.
And like just us two, just loving each other and being with each other and just doing fun things together somewhere else, So that's one of the ways we really like we love what we love doing is
yeah, we like to check off every country we've had sex in too.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. That's also a big part of why we travel.
We're like, all right, bed, couch, whatever's in the hotel room.
Table.
We won't say too much, but
dining table.
But yeah, so our goal is every time we travel, we have to at least do it one time, because then, it's fun for us to remember. And each time is always so different and so special. And I feel like that is something that I like to recommend to people, is doing things together, but outside of your comfort zone, outside of your city, your home. Because, we live together for almost 3 years now. And sure, we see each other every day. Obviously, the first year, it was like, doing it like crazy because you're finally living together. But after so much time, you know, being together, you have to find other ways to keep it alive and to make sure you're
Mhm.
both enjoying it too. Cause I remember there was a point in our time where I would just, you know, be like, oh my God, it's been over a week and I haven't let you. I'm just gonna let you just, you
Mhm.
know, because we always said we'd like to, you know, do minimal like once a week or whatever. And I remember there was even a dry spell where it was like
Mhm.
months we went because we were just like having really bad arguments or we were just in a bad place.
Mhm.
And now after that, I think that's just something for us also to connect. Like I think it's such a great thing in relationships where you find that intimacy with your partner because it's not just about like, you know, like thing in the hole. Like there's more to it. It's like actually seeing what is your love language, like how do
Mhm.
you like what's your turn ons, like what do you need to be in the mood and to be there, because
Mhm.
sometimes I feel like especially for us women like we need more than just all right, let's get it in. Like no, it's like we want, you know, to have a massage done beforehand, we want
Mhm.
to hug, we want to have that skin to skin contact. And sometimes we're always like in a rush or whatever. And it's like, no, you got to take that moment so
Mhm.
you can both have that romantic, you know, pleasure that you need from one
Mhm.
another. Because obviously, men, like half the time you're like, I don't care. I just want to get it in, put it in, or whatever. And like
Mhm.
they're okay with it. But sometimes they also like the foreplay and they like
Mhm.
having more because then they're also doing something to please you. And so for us, it's always just making sure like, are we both enjoying this? Are we both wanting to do this? And do we feel like we have to? Because I know for me, sometimes I just felt like obligated as being your wife. Like,
Mhm.
if I don't let him do it or if I don't give him enough, he's going to go find it somewhere else. And that's not the case. But we still do have to, you know, think of our partner and make sure like if you're not wanting to, why aren't you wanting to? And having that
Mhm.
conversation and just seeing what can you do to make this better for both parties.
Yeah, and I mean, you still want to have, us guys. Obviously, we just want to get it in and yeah, like let it out, right? But you also have to have that connection with your partner. Like she was saying, it's like you also have to feel her and like warm her up in a sense. So whether it's like massaging or touching her, still because you want to have that connection as well too with your
Mhm.
partner. You don't want to just be fuck buddies and that's what it is in a marriage. Like you don't really want to have that because then it's not gonna is your marriage isn't gonna really like have that like spark that true romance.
Mhm.
So you just have to make sure that you guys are also connecting in different ways and understanding your guys' love languages. Like mine is this is what I love, and then this is what you love, right? She loves the massages, the touching, the intimacy, right?
Mhm.
And that's what you have to provide, and on both sides as well too. So just also communicating with each other and understanding,
Yeah.
all of that.
Trying different
Well,
things too. See what you like, see what you don't like,
hmm
but actually saying it, not just being like, oh, okay, that's cool or whatever. It's like, no, like really telling your partner, like, where you want to be touched, how you want to be handled, and like, you know,
hmm
switching it up a little bit, even adding some spice into the bedroom, you know,
hmm
whether it's cute lingerie or, you know, role play or costumes or whatever you need to get going because
hmm
it is so important for you to have that intimacy and that pleasure with your partner because you're going to be with this person for the rest of your life. I mean, that's how we see
yeah.
it. And it's like, how am I going to make sure that we're continuously wanting each other till we die? And how we can make sure that when we get to that certain age that it just comes natural to us. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to tell the
hmm
person like I need you to do this to get me going. Like it's just a natural response
hmm
and that natural like feeling like I know what my partner needs from me so that I can receive what I'm looking for too.
Yeah, just understanding each other's bodies, and the way you do that is
Mhm.
by exploring, right? By trying new things, trying different things, and then you kind of start to understand what you each like. And then you can really bring more intimacy and romance and love into
Mhm.
into the relationship and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but that's kind of like for that question. That's kind of the
Yeah,
sum
we're
up
not
for
gonna
it.
go
No, we're not gonna go
all the way.
too.
This
We're
is
not gonna go too details.
not a
into,
rated R podcast.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we're gonna keep it a little PG-13.
Mhm.
But yeah, we can move on to the next question.
Ooh, this is a good one. What's one piece of advice you'd give to newlyweds?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. Again, given that we're going on to 3 years of marriage, which by then obviously we would say have some good experience and
Like a
knowledge,
little
you know.
bit. Yeah.
But I mean, what I would say to somebody who is getting married, newly getting married, is I would tell you, like, honestly, just the most important thing in your relationship is going to be you communicate. I know we've said this over and over and over and over again in
I know
many
we're gonna have a hashtag
in
communicating
our
here.
other in our other podcasts, but like, honestly, that's what you guys need in a relationship if you really want it to grow, especially a marriage. Communicate. It's going to be the most important thing in your relationship, because no matter what happens, you know that you can go to your partner and communicate whatever situation or whatever is going on in your life, your work life, or whatever it is, or family life, or to like personal life. You can go to your partner and have that safe space and that safe communication with each other. So I mean, I think that's, for me at least, that's the best advice I can give newlyweds. Just communicate, guys. That's gonna save a lot of arguments and a lot of time, just arguing and bad things and stuff. So just communicate. I don't know if you have anything else.
I 100% agree with you. I would also add, keep dating. Like, keep dating your partner, because sometimes I feel like we get married and we think we're married now, like this is it. And I know for us, we kind of went into that stage where we stopped dating. Like, we just would do things and it felt more like friends or roommates. And that's one thing I would for sure tell you is continue dating your partner, continue dressing up for them,
Spontaneous.
continue, planning little things. You don't always have to go anywhere fancy or expensive. Even do little hiking dates together, picnics, whatever it is. Just date. Continue dating. And I say that until you die. Just date your partner, because we tend to let life go by, and then we forget why we're in this relationship. We forget why we love our partners, and we tend to neglect our partners just because we think they don't need it anymore. So keep dating, because every girl loves to dress up and look good for her man, and she likes to show her man off, especially when they dress up really nicely. And we just like to feel good, and men, plan more dates for your women, because we love being surprised, because it shows us that you're thinking of us and you care, and it's not just you got her, you're going to continue getting her.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so those are probably the two advices that we'd give to newlyweds. I'm sure there's tons and tons of more, but I think those are like the two most important ones that we've learned in our marriage. That's really helped us a lot continuously grow in our marriage. So communicate and just keep dating. Just keep feeling young, like when you first met, right? Like, keep, like, guys, just keep, like, you did anything and everything you could to try to get, that girl. You would do things, bring her flowers, take her out, do all these things. Keep doing that, right? Keep it young, right?
Yeah.
So
that's a good way to
I
put
think
that.
that's the best way. Yeah, the best way we can answer that question.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anything else you want to say on that topic?
Nope, I think that one's good. We can segue to the next question.
Cool. Yeah. What's that next question?
So, how do you balance independence and togetherness in your relationship? It's a pretty good question.
Yeah. How do you balance independence and togetherness? So first and foremost, for the independence is how do we balance independence? Is we each have our own goals. Our own, things that we want to accomplish.
Our own hobbies
personally,
too.
our own hobbies as well too. She has, her dancing. I have my going to the gym, playing soccer. Those are, my hobbies on the side. And just just making sure that you guys also check in with yourselves as well too, and making
Yeah.
sure that like you're putting time aside for yourself, because life can be crazy, life can be difficult, hard, chaotic, all over the place. But you just have to make sure that you're putting time aside for the personal things, if that's for the independent, how we balance being independent. And then
Yeah, and just making sure that if your partner does have something that makes them feel good about themselves,
mhm,
if it's positive, you need to encourage them to
mhm,
continue doing it. I know for us, I remember there was a time where I just got really lazy and depressed, and I wasn't doing the things I loved because I didn't think I could, or because I didn't think I should do them anymore. And I remember you saying, like, well, how much is Zumba, or how much is whatever? Like, let's do it. Let me pay for that for you. Let's go. Like, what do you need to get there? Like, what
mhm,
motivation you need? You see the dishes need to be done. Don't worry, I'm going to do them. You go and figure out what you need and what you need to do for your self-care. And I remember getting back into dancing, and even till this day now, I'm trying to get back into it because there's times where I don't feel good about myself, and I forget that it's not just you and me. Like, it needs to be me as well. And you're not always going to be around me 24/7. I need to have some sort of independence from you, because that's
mhm,
also good for you. It's good for, you know, your personal growth. If I don't have anything going for me, and I'm always just expecting you to do stuff with me and us to be together, that's not healthy. And that needs to be worked on. And so that's why I always tell people, like, I know we love our partners and I know we want to be with them 24/7. If I could be glued to him, I probably would. But we need independence because we need time for ourselves. We need me time, and we need something that drives us. We need something that makes us feel good about ourselves, because it's not my partner's responsibility to make me feel 100%. He's there to make me feel good, I want to say 50% of the time, but the other 50% is about me. And if I don't have any independence or any hobbies or anything that makes me feel good, I need to go and find something that makes me feel good about myself and makes me just feel happy. And then when I come home, I share it with him, and we find things to do together, which is where that togetherness comes in,
mhm,
and making sure you find things that you can do together. You find hobbies that you enjoy together. I know for us, like, we are starting to go on walks together with our dog on the beach. We're trying to do like hiking together. We love to travel. So those are the things that we have found that we love to do together. And he has, what he likes to do by himself. And there's some times where I'm like, I'll go with you to soccer. I think I went one time with you
mhm,
and I kicked the ball around, and that made him feel so happy that I immersed myself in what he likes to do, and then vice versa. Like, he'll do his little dance with me, or he'll just, show up to all of my performances, and he
mhm,
supports me. And I think that's so important, to support your partner and whatever makes them
mhm.
happy, as long as it's healthy and positive. If it's something negative, then, that's a different conversation. But as long as you're doing something positive, your partner should support you.
Yeah, I mean, back to that dancing thing. At our wedding, actually, I learned
Oh, yeah.
how to. I mean, not saying that I didn't know how to dance. I know how to dance a little bit, but I
Yeah.
wasn't, as good as she is. But for our wedding, yeah, I mean, like she said, she immersed herself in the hobby that I like to do, and then I immersed myself in what she loves to do, which was dance, and I
Yeah.
learned how to, do a full on routine in
He
our
learned how to
kitchen.
waltz.
Yeah, in our kitchen. And our
He
kitchen is
learned
our kitchen is
this
not that big either,
in
but
like 2 weeks.
yeah,
Keep in mind.
before we before
Before the
we yeah,
wedding.
before the wedding. But yeah, but it's just it's just having your own personal goals and your own hobbies as well too, but also sharing that together. How she was
Hmm.
saying, it's like, because that also brings joy in each other's part, in the marriage and the relationship, because it's like, yeah, I felt amazing when she was like, yeah, I'll go kick the ball with you. Like,
Yeah.
she came into a world that I love, to do, and then vice versa. I was like, yeah, I'll learn, the routine. I'll dance,
Yeah.
So it brings joy too when you guys like support each other in that aspect as well too.
Yeah.
And then just figure out things that you love doing together, right? Like she said, we love going to the beach. We walk our dog at the beach, go hike, travel. We figure out things that we love and we enjoy doing together as well too. And sometimes there's days where we just love being at home,
Oh my
just
God. Yeah.
hanging
Our
out,
favorite thing to
watching
do at
movies.
home. It's funny because some people would look at us and be like, wow, you guys actually don't love each other. Or you guys, like, how is this your life? But one of our favorite things to do, I love binge watching like movies, TV shows, and he loves to play video games. And that works for us because I'm
Mhm.
in the living room watching my show and he's playing video games in the living room and we're both together in our kind of like peace, happy place because that's how he grew up playing video games. And I
Mhm.
grew up watching a lot of TV because I was alone a lot of the time. And having him just sit in the living room playing video games while I'm watching TV is honestly the most peaceful thing I could have ever asked for because now I have someone there. Like, even though he's not sitting next to me on the couch, he's not paying attention to me, he's not watching the same thing I am. He's just sitting there playing his video games happy. And like, we'll both eat like our little cereal bowls and we'll both like, have our snacks or whatever it
Mhm.
is. But we're there doing it together. And I know a lot of people will not understand, like, but you guys aren't doing the same thing. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is he's sitting there, I'm sitting there, we're in the same room. We're both in our happy place and we both look at each other like every time he has a pause or dies in the game, or if I have like now there's commercials, I like go and bug him or I'll hug him or he'll look at me and just like wink or whatever. And that to me is
Mhm.
so special. And so that's why we strive to have our independence, but our togetherness is just peace. Like, what can we do together that makes us both feel good? Whether it's being outside of the house or in the house, but as long as we agree, like, that's what we like to do, we don't give a fuck about what everyone else says. Like, I don't care if everyone's like, well, he plays video games. Like, what a nerd. I'm like, I don't give a shit. My nerd is sitting in the house. He's not drinking a beer. He's not drinking any alcohol. He doesn't care to go out. That's what I want. That's my peace. And vice versa. Like, he's
Mhm.
like, if someone tells him like, well, she watches too much TV or she's not doing anything, it's like, well, she's home. She's not watching anything negative. She's not out with her friends getting drunk. She's not being a whore or anything. Like, she's sitting right there and she's baking me cookies. Like, what more could anybody want? So
Mhm.
we don't really care what anyone thinks is the stereotypical, like, what you're supposed to do together as long as it works for you.
Yeah, as long as it works for you and it makes you guys happy, then do it. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about it. Like, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, they're not living your life. You're living your life. So why are you gonna go based off of people's opinions, right? So just do you and just love each
Yeah.
other, and you'll start building something truly like amazing when you
Mhm.
when you really just focus on first and foremost you, because bettering yourself will also better your partner and your relationship, and then putting attention to each other and what your guys' needs are together. That's
Yeah.
what's going to help just really grow your relationship, and just continuously, year after year after year, continuously it being a more and more and more incredible relationship.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's the best way we can put this for you guys. Do we have another question or?
So we have another question here. If your spouse had to describe you in one word, what would it be? Ooh.
Um,
Choose your word wisely.
yeah, this question is I mean, there's a lot of words that I can use and describe her with. But if I was to think about one word, what word would it be? I think the word would be godsend. That's probably the best way I can describe um her, just because she came to me at the right time. I was, you know, I was a lost boy. I can say, I was I had no really direction in my life, and you know, I wasn't really sure of what I wanted to do in life, and I she shaped me into the person that I am today. She, in a sense, turned me into a man, so like because of, again, her experiences, and because she was a leader at a very young age, and she helped me become, that leader for her. Um, so I think that's probably the best way I can describe her is godsend. Like yeah, I mean, it's just amazing how our relationship, developed over time and how we grew. Um, I mean, the beginning wasn't easy, but how we grew stronger and stronger together as time progressed. But yeah, I mean, you're definitely sent by God. That
You're gonna make me cry.
so
Oh,
that's the best way I can describe you. So
I was
yeah.
expecting you to say like horrible, annoying, cries too much,
Yeah, I mean,
something bad.
those are part of the package, but no, I
Oh,
mean,
thanks.
I would take that. I would take those things over anything else because, again, it also allowed me to become who I am today. So, you know,
Oh,
that's what
you're
that
so sweet.
that's how that's the best way
We're
I
not
can
supposed
describe
to
you.
cry on this podcast. Oh my god, how am I supposed to go after that? Well, I had a few words in mind for you. I mean, you're kind of a bunch of different things. You're dorky, annoying, like crazy, nerdy. You're a lot of different things, but if I really had to choose one word, I would probably, it's funny how you say godsend. I would call you an angel because you came into my life at a difficult time. I had just, ended a really big friendship that was like family to me. She was like a sister to me. I was dating someone who pretty much just wanted me for one thing, and I thought this was a relationship, and I tried so hard, to make them want me and to choose me, and you were just there. You picked me up when I was broken, when I was just drinking all the time. I was lost too. It's funny how you say you were a lost boy. And I'm just so grateful for you because even with just those two things, I was going through my own childhood trauma, figuring out what I needed to do to move forward. I never had that fatherly love that I see everybody have or I see on TV, and you healed my inner child. And I think that is something so special because for those of you who have gone through traumatic experiences, who didn't get to grow up with, their mom or dad, and who just felt alone for a long time, who had to do things by themselves, who felt like, they weren't good enough for their partners at the time, or who weren't good enough for friendships, or who just, this was their life. You really were my angel, and you made me see the light, and you really guided me to a better life, a better me. And the one thing I will say that you really healed is that you healed my inner child. You gave her, I'm getting emotional. You gave that little girl the love and support she never had. You gave her the arms that she needed to run to hug. You gave her the feeling that she was safe and that she didn't have to worry about anything else. And you just gave her stability. You gave her the feeling that you weren't just going to leave and never come back. And I'm just so grateful for you. And you are my angel. You are sent from heaven, because I truly needed you. And you came when I was ready for you. Because I always think, like, where were you in my life, and why didn't you come sooner? And it's because I needed to go through what I needed to go through, and for you to help me move forward, and for you to heal me, and for you to just make the little girl inside of me finally feel like she had a home that she could come home to. Oh my goodness, here I go. And so I'm just so grateful for you, and I just appreciate you, and I'm just so happy to have you in my life, and you are truly my angel, and I love you.
I love you too, man.
Oh, here I go with the crying. And this is, something that I'm so happy, like, that I have you, because I can feel vulnerable and I don't feel judged, and I know I can just let it out. And then you'll be like, all right, you want to go for some ice cream now? And that just, to me, like, it just makes my heart feel so good, and it just makes me feel so warm inside, and I'm just so happy.
Yeah. I'm grateful for you as well too, and the person you've helped me become and helped me grow into. Because I mean, to be honest, I don't think I would have become this person without you, really. So you've had a huge impact in my life as well too. So I really appreciate you and love you for that.
Thank you.
And maybe after this podcast, we'll get some ice cream.
Oh, please, because my inner child is like, is like, are you gonna take me? And it's just so nice because, like, for a lot of you who don't really, I don't really show my vulnerability. I'm usually the person that just, cries in a corner and then, moves on in the next 10 minutes. And just these tears today, it's, not sad to say, but I'm actually crying because I'm happy. Usually I cry because I'm sad, and I love happy tears, and I'm just grateful that I'm able to have happy tears now, and they're not sad anymore.
Mm-hmm. And I'm happy that, we together we were able to build that, like
Yeah.
you helped me become who I am, and I helped you, gave you what you needed to become who you are, and it's just going to continue growing from here as long as we love each other and we put in the work, for each other, so
Yeah, I agree.
so it's just, I think it's amazing.
So I think this is a good stopping point, and this is why we have created this podcast, because we want to show others that being vulnerable is what you need to be in a relationship. You need to be able to feel safe and to be able to have a partner who will just, sit here and look at you and just be like, is this what you need? Do you need to let it out? Do you want a hug? Do you want like a pizza? Like, what do you want from me? And then I'm here for you. Like, and just to be able to feel like you can tell them anything is what you should strive for. And that's why we're here to just show you, like, we can have these conversations. We can be vulnerable. We can feel safe, because we've created this home. We've created this foundation for each other. And we hope that this will be what we do when we have our kids, and we want to be able to have our children have these conversations with us and with their future partners. And we want our friends and our family to be able to feel like they can do this with their partner, with their households, because I think this is so special to have in a relationship, to have in your home, is the feeling of safeness, comfort, like, no judging, nothing. Like, everything is positive and everything is just, I'm here for you. How can I help you heal? How can I help you grow? And how can we all move forward and be happy? And so that's why we are here, sitting here. That's why I'm crying on camera, like, because we want to show you the raw, the realness and the honesty that you can have with your partner and with your marriage, with your relationship, with yourself, with others. And so we really hope that, what we say resonates with you, and we hope we can help you in whatever you're going through, whatever you're dealing with, and, supporting you in your journey, because that's what it's about. We want everyone to be on the right path as best as they can, and we're going to do our best to help you through it. So the last question we have here is, what are our nicknames for each other?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good backstory of mine too.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because
you guys are gonna be like, really?
yeah, his nickname for me in his phone is so offensive, to be honest, but it's the way he describes why is really cute. So we'll start with him.
Yeah, so my nickname for her is Baby Beluga. So if you guys don't know what a baby beluga is, you could Google it.
It's a baby whale.
Yeah, it's a white baby whale.
Yeah.
So now a lot of you would probably be like, why would you call her a whale? Like, that's so fucked up. Like,
yeah, because he thinks I'm fat.
No, that's not the reason why I call her Baby Beluga. But the reason why I would call her that's the nickname I gave her. For one, she's white, so Beluga's white. But because she's just like my little baby. She's my little
baby whale.
Baby whale.
Thanks.
Not in an offensive way either, not in like a fat shaming way, but because also whales are really smart, and they're super kind, gentle with their partners and with their babies. So it's like it was just the nickname that I thought described her. Well.
So he's trying to save himself.
No, that's not it. But that's the nickname that, I gave her for a long time, actually.
I don't even know when you started that. I don't know if we saw like the Baby Beluga song that's where it stuck. To be honest, I have no idea. I just remember one day I saw my contact in your phone and it said Baby Beluga, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is how you view me? I'm a fucking little white baby whale. Like, but so the way he describes it, it's super cute. And to be honest, I can't tell him to change it. That's how he wants to not to see me, but that's what he wants to have me as. And that's how he wants to remember me as. And if I'm his little white baby whale, then I have to accept that. And at least I know it's not in a mean sense. Like, nicknames don't, just because they sound mean, it doesn't mean that they're mean. Like, my nickname for him is Bubba, and everyone immediately thinks Bubba Gump, or,
shrimp. I'm a shrimp.
And it's not. I've actually never seen Forrest Gump, to be honest. And we're not going to get into that. But so the way I describe it is he's my big baby. And a lot of people will think, well, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean he's your big baby? And it's like, well, yeah, he's in the beginning, like, he would do a lot of things like that were childish, or like every time he did something bad, I'd be like, Niño, or like, what are you doing? And so for a long time, I was just like, well, he's my big baby. Like, I have to care for him and help him grow. And like, he's also my big babe. Like, he is my big teddy bear, and he gives me love and everything I need as well. And so that's why for me, Bubba just fit him perfect. And it's funny, I call him like a million things. And so our other thing is with Bubba, I shorten it to Bub. And for us, we really love SpongeBob. Mm-hmm. So I would call him Bub because like we love SpongeBob. And so that was also another fun kind of inside joke between us. So I'd be like Bub, or I'd call him Esponja, which in Spanish is sponge. Mm-hmm. And so for me, your nickname is obviously Bubba, but like your side nicknames are Bubs and Esponja. And it's just like, for me, it's so fun and playful to have these nicknames for you, because it brings something that we both found joy in. And we obviously like bring up SpongeBob a lot, and it just makes me know that like that nickname is only for like for me and for him, and no one else is going to take that from me. So I think having nicknames with your partner is great. Make sure it means something, that's personal for you, but make sure it's not negative, because I know there's some people that, you know, they like I know in Mexican like terms they say like vieja or whatever, and it's like, you know, sure, everyone says it, but have something more meaningful to you and to your relationship, because like only you and your partner are actually going to know why you call each other those things, and it makes it just so special to have these unique nicknames for each other. And don't get offended, because like I said, I got offended with his in the beginning, but when he explained to me about the whole whales and what they represent, I actually was like, wow, like that's really cool. I wouldn't have ever expected it. I saw the negative in it, and there's actually something beautiful about it.
Yeah, and you know, this is why we created this podcast, because we want to be able to just help anybody out there that doesn't matter if you're single, in a relationship, or married, but just help you guys through our experiences and what we've learned as a couple, as a you know, from the beginning to now, you know, and continuously growing over time. But yeah, guys, I mean, it's just listen, love, and learn. The 3 L's. Like that's what you need to do. Just listen, love, and learn. Listen to your partner, listen to what they need, you know, both, you know, she listens to me, I listen to her, right? And then love each other. Love bring each other together closer through love and connection and adventures and experiences, and then learning. You're never going to stop learning from each other. You're never going to stop learning in anything in life. So I think those 3 are like the three big pillars of, you know, anything in life, really. But yeah, I mean, this podcast has been, you know, this podcast episode has been amazing, I think, and it will
love and emotions.
We'll close that. We'll close this podcast here, and I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, guys. Any questions you have, comment down below. Feel free to send us any messages or any questions that you may have.
Please do.
And then again, if you are interested in jumping on the podcast and sharing your experiences, you know, it doesn't matter if you're single, you know, dating somebody, or, you know, married, feel free to send us a message so we can have you on our podcast. We would love to have you on here. And yeah, guys, we will see you guys next time on our next episode. Peace out, guys.
Bye.